There's a type of player the Lakers have been missing for a while now. Not a superstar, not a defensive anchor, and definitely not another veteran who's past his prime. What they've really been lacking is that instant offense spark plug, a guy who can walk on the court, call his own number, and drop 15, maybe 25 without breaking a sweat. A microwave scorer. And when you look around the league, there are a couple of names that just jump off the page. Guys like Cam Thomas and Malik Monk, who have shown that they can be exactly that. And here's the kicker. These guys might actually be gettable. Malik Monk in particular is in a weird spot. Sacramento doesn't seem all that interested in holding on to him. It's almost like they're trying to hand him off. Here, take him. That's not normal for a guy who just averaged over 17 points per game coming off the bench and can change the momentum of a game in minutes. The catch, of course, is how to make the trade work. Sacramento isn't looking to get players in return. They're trying to clear space, both in terms of roster and salary. They're chasing Russell Westbrook. That's the backdrop. So, if you're the Lakers and you have an opportunity to grab a guy like Malik Monk without gutting your roster, how do you not at least pick up the phone? The fit makes too much sense. The Lakers' bench, as it's currently constructed, is built around defense and energy. You got guys who can hustle, guys who can rebound, guys who can switch on defense. But when it comes to self-creation, when it comes to someone who can go out and get a bucket without relying on LeBron or Luka or even Austin Reeves, there's a big gap. And the deeper you go into the rotation, the more that drop-off becomes obvious. Rui Hachimura is probably the closest thing the Lakers have to a self-creator off the bench, but even that feels like a stretch. Rui has adapted so much to that catch-and-shoot role that people forget he came into the league with a strong mid-range game, good footwork in the post, and the ability to attack mismatches. He could absolutely be that sixth-man type scorer if you let him. That's why the idea of moving Rui to the bench isn't crazy at all. In fact, it might unlock another layer to this roster. Let Rui cook in those second units, call his number, post him up, run a couple of mid-range sets for him. Let it be the guy who carries the offense when LeBron and Luka are catching their breath. He's one of the best mid-range shooters in the league. Use it. Put him at the 4, let him exploit mismatches, and allow him to find a rhythm in a way that just doesn't happen when he's standing in the corner watching Reeves or Luka run pick and rolls. And maybe Jake LaRavia can develop into that type of guy too. The talent is there. He has the skill set to get buckets, but will the Lakers use him that way? Or will he fall into that same trap where he's reduced to a spot-up shooter, just waiting for scraps in the corner? That's the concern, because that's been the pattern. The Lakers bring in guys with potential, with scoring instincts, and then strip them down into narrow roles. That's why Monk or Thomas feels like a cheat code, because they're already molded into the kind of player you need. You don't have to train them into being aggressive scorers. They already are. And look, when you examine the current bench, it's mostly defense. Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Bronny James, Jackson Hayes. These are energy guys, effort guys, guys who'll get in your face defensively, but are not exactly putting pressure on opposing defenses with the ball in their hands. You can't build a balanced team that way. Yes, your starters might be loaded. Luka, LeBron, Reeves, Aidon. Those 4 alone could put you near the top of the league in points per game. But you cannot rely solely on your starting 5 to win games in this league. One off night from LeBron, one load management game for Luka, and suddenly you're struggling to score 90 points. That's where having a legit scorer off the bench becomes more than just a luxury. It becomes a necessity. And bringing Reeves or Rui off the bench might help with balance. But realistically, the Lakers probably won't go that route. At least not with Reeves. Rui feels more like a coin flip. It'll probably come down to training camp. Who looks good? Who earns the spot? Maybe Marcus Smart earns that wing role in the starting lineup. Maybe Vanderbilt has a breakout preseason. Or maybe LaRavia shows enough two-way ability that he forces Darvin Ham's hand. But whoever wins that starting small forward spot, the bench still needs scoring. You can't go into a season crossing your fingers, hoping one of your young guys becomes that guy. That's what the Lakers have done in recent years, betting on upside, and it's left them thin when it matters. If Jake LaRavia hits, great. If Dalton Connect suddenly finds consistency, even better. But you can't count on that. Not when you're trying to win a championship. And let's be honest, Summer League didn't exactly scream. This guy is ready to drop 15 a night off the bench. One way to solve this issue would be to start stacking the lineups differently. Maybe bring Rui off the bench. Maybe even bring Austin Reeves off the bench, although that feels highly unlikely. But again, that doesn't solve the core problem. You still need someone who can come in cold and generate offense. Someone who isn't just a catch-and-shoot guy or a system player, but a real, dynamic scorer. That's why guys like Cam Thomas are so intriguing. He's a pure scorer, a Lou Williams-type player who can drop 20 in his sleep. You don't have to overthink it. You give him the ball, get out of the way, and he's going to get you buckets. Imagine having a player like that coming off the Lakers bench. When LeBron is resting. When Luka is getting treatment. When Reeves is stuck on the bench with foul trouble. Just throw Cam Thomas out there and let him do what he does best. It's not about making him the primary option every night. It's about having that option when you need it. Someone who can just get hot and change the trajectory of a game. Someone who can pick up the slack on nights where the stars aren't clicking. And you don't even need to mortgage the future for a guy like that. In fact, the Lakers might be able to land one through an opportunistic trade. Take Malik Monk again. If the Kings are truly motivated to move him just to open up space for Westbrook, then this is exactly the kind of situation a smart front office pounces on. The Lakers could swoop in, offer a salary dump with a third team involved, and get a proven scorer for almost nothing in return. You're not going to get that kind of opportunity every day. Let's say the Nets get involved as that third team. Maybe they take on a contract like Gabe Vincent or Maxi Kleber, and in return, they get a couple of young prospects like Dalton Knecht and Jalen Hood-Schifino. Now the Kings get the cap space and roster flexibility they want. The Nets get two young, controllable assets. And the Lakers get Malik Monk, a guy who's already familiar with the organization, who already has chemistry with LeBron, and who fits perfectly into what this team is lacking. That's the kind of deal that helps everyone involved. So, the ideal guy is someone who can create, who's comfortable off the ball, and who won't kill you on defense. That's not an easy find, but it's not impossible either. That's where players like Monk and Thomas hit the sweet spot. They've got the offensive skill set. They've got the versatility. And they might just be available under the right circumstances. The Lakers don't have to make a panic move, but they need to be ready. Because if the opportunity arises to bring in a legit bucket getter off the bench, especially one that doesn't cost them an arm and a leg, they better be first in line. The thing about building a championship roster is that it's not just about the big names. It's about covering your blind spots before they become fatal flaws. And for the Lakers, that blind spot is crystal clear, consistent, reliable scoring from the second unit. This team is top-heavy by design, but if you want to make a deep run in the playoffs, you need players outside of your main five who can actually till the game. Guys who can come in and shift momentum, not just hold the line. And that's why having a real sixth man, a guy who can take over a quarter when the starters are on the bench, could be the missing link in this entire puzzle. And sure, the Lakers have thrown names around. They've tried patchwork options, they've taken swings on young guys, but none of those experiments have turned into consistent production. Austin Reeves has grown into a borderline star, but he's a starter now. Rui Hachimura has the skill set, but not the touches. Gabe Vincent? Solid when healthy, but not a shot creator. Jackson Hayes? Energy guy. Vanderbilt? All hustle, no offense. You can go down the list, and what you'll find is the same thing over and over. Defensive-minded players who don't threaten defenses when the ball swings their way. That's fine if you're trying to keep the score close. That's not fine if you're trying to win. Now imagine for a second that the Lakers don't address this. They go into the season with what they've got. Maybe Dalton Knecht gets some run. Maybe LaRavia carves out a role. Maybe. That's not a plan. That's a gamble. That's crossing your fingers and hoping someone becomes something they've never been. This team doesn't have the luxury to wait for development. LeBron is entering the twilight of his career, Luka is in his prime, and the window is open right now. You don't waste that window by asking a rookie to be your bench scorer in the playoffs. That's why you look at opportunities like Malik Monk's availability and say, why not? He's not just a scorer. He's a high IQ player who understands how to play alongside stars. He's played next to Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, even LeBron back in his first Lakers stint. He knows how to navigate those offensive dynamics. He doesn't need to dominate the ball to be effective, but if you give him the ball, he knows exactly what to do with it. That type of player is invaluable in the postseason. When games slow down, half-court execution matters, and rotations get tighter. And here's the thing. Monk has already proven he can score in bunches, but he's also capable of making plays. He averaged over 5 assists per game last season. That's not nothing. That shows he's not just a tunnel vision guy looking to get his. He can keep the ball moving, find cutters, and run second-unit pick-and-rolls. That gives you lineup flexibility. That lets you stagger stars. That lets you survive those crucial non-Luka, non-LeBron minutes that so often decide playoff games. That's the real value. It's easy to think about offense as highlight plays, a flashy dunk, a deep three, but what wins games in May and June is control. Can you control a game when your stars are out? Can you keep the scoreboard ticking while giving your top guys a breather? That's what guys like Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford, and even Jason Terry did for their teams. And that's what someone like Monk or Cam Thomas could bring to the Lakers. Speaking of Cam Thomas, the potential is insane. He's already shown that he can drop 40 on any given night. That kind of firepower doesn't come around often, especially not off the bench. But it's not just about scoring. It's about whether he can adapt his game to fit this system. Can he play off of Luka? Can he be effective when the ball isn't in his hands? Those are the questions. Because you don't want a guy who becomes a black hole the second he steps on the court. You want a guy who can light it up, yes, but who can also contribute in other ways. Cam is still young. He has room to grow, but the flashes are there. He's fearless, aggressive, and doesn't back down from the moment. That's exactly the kind of edge this Lakers bench needs. Too often last season, the second unit played tentative. They played like they were trying not to mess up. You can't win like that. You need guys who attack, guys who put pressure on defenses. That's what Cam brings. Of course, acquiring him wouldn't be simple. The Nets aren't just going to hand him over. But if Brooklyn decides to lean fully into a rebuild, then maybe there's a window there. Maybe a package of young talent and expiring contracts gets it done. Again, you're not talking about trading the future here. You're talking about rebalancing the roster in a way that gives you a legitimate shot at winning right now. There's also the value of familiarity. With Monk, you're getting someone who's already worn the jersey. He knows the culture, he knows the expectations, and he thrived here. That matters. Sometimes guys just fit certain franchises, and Monk looked comfortable in purple and gold. He had chemistry with LeBron, he had a rhythm in that offense, and he brought a spark that this team hasn't really had since. But let's say the Lakers don't land either of these guys. What then? Do you just ride with what you have and hope someone pops? That's risky. Maybe LaRavia breaks out. Maybe Dalton Connect finds his rhythm. But those are a lot of maybes. The smarter play is to at least try to bring in someone proven. Someone who raises your floor and gives your bench a real identity. Because right now, the identity of that second unit is unclear. Defense? Maybe. Energy? Sure. But offense? That's a mystery. It's not even about getting 25 points per game off the bench. It's about having that option. Someone who can carry you for 6 minutes when things are going cold. Someone who can break a zone, attack a mismatch, and make a defense pay for switching. That's what Monk can do. That's what Thomas can do. That's what this Lakers roster, as it's currently built, cannot. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on. The sports world is buzzing with whispers and speculation after news emerged that Kevin Durant, one of the most prolific scorers in NBA history, has allegedly signed a 4-year contract with the Los Angeles Lakers, sending shockwaves across the United States. Sources close to the matter suggest that the deal, reportedly worth hundreds of millions, is poised to dramatically reshape the competitive landscape of the league, creating a super team atmosphere in Los Angeles that could rival even the dynasties of recent decades. Fans, analysts, and former players have taken to social media and sports talk shows to dissect what this potential union could mean not only for the Lakers, but also for Durant's own legacy, which has already been defined by his incredible scoring ability, clutch performances, and resilience through career-altering injuries. Rumors indicate that discussions between Durant's camp and the Lakers have been ongoing for months, with multiple meetings in Los Angeles and New York aimed at aligning on the vision for the team at Durant's role as both a leader and a scorer. The buzz is fueled not only by the financial magnitude of the agreement, but also by the timing. As the Lakers look to rebound from a season that fell short of expectations, leaving fans desperate for a transformative addition to the roster. Insiders speculate that Durant's arrival in Los Angeles could spark a seismic shift in how the Western Conference will be contested over the next several seasons. Analysts point out that the Lakers already possess a strong foundation of talent, with young stars and seasoned veterans capable of complementing Durant's offensive prowess, suggesting that the team could immediately challenge for championships and possibly redefine the hierarchy in professional basketball. There are murmurs that the Lakers management strategically courted Durant with promises of flexibility in team structure and offensive schemes tailored to maximize his strengths, including isolation plays, pick-and-roll options, and off-ball movement that leverages his scoring versatility. Beyond the technical aspects, there is talk of Durant's desire to be part of a franchise with both a storied history and a global cultural footprint, implying that the Lakers' brand and Los Angeles lifestyle played a significant role in persuading him to commit. Betting markets and fantasy leagues are reportedly adjusting projections based on the potential impact of Durant joining forces with high-profile teammates, fueling both excitement and skepticism about how individual roles will be negotiated. Meanwhile, social media platforms are awash with reactions ranging from sheer disbelief to cautious optimism, as fans attempt to reconcile the notion that one of the league's most dominant talents could be donning the purple and gold for the foreseeable future. There is an undercurrent of intrigue surrounding the dynamics within the Lakers' locker room, as whispers suggest that the arrival of a superstar like Durant could influence not only play style, but also leadership hierarchies, team chemistry, and even player retention. Sources hint that the franchise has been deliberate in framing Durant's role not merely as a scorer, but as a mentor figure who can elevate younger players, integrate seamlessly into existing rotations, and embody the competitive ethos the organization has sought to cultivate. Skeptics, however, caution that such a high-profile acquisition can also lead to internal friction, citing past examples of superstar pairings that failed to mesh due to differing egos, expectations, or stylistic incompatibilities. Sports pundits are dissecting every aspect of this rumored deal, from Durant's potential influence on ticket sales and merchandise revenue to the likely ripple effect on other teams seeking marquee talent in response. There is also speculation that Durant's decision could set off a domino effect in the NBA's free agency market, pressuring other stars to reconsider their positions or prompting teams to restructure contracts in anticipation of shifting competitive balances. Conversations on sports networks suggest that while excitement is palpable, cautious optimism prevails, as the true impact of Durant's commitment, if indeed finalized, remains shrouded in a mixture of rumor, speculation, and strategic silence from the parties directly involved. Reports suggest that Durant's rumored signing could also have broader implications beyond the hardwood, influencing media partnerships, endorsement deals, and even local economies. Observers speculate that Los Angeles, already a global epicenter for entertainment and sports, could see a surge in tourism, fan engagement, and sponsorship interest as a result of Durant joining the Lakers. Conversations among marketing insiders indicate that the synergy between Durant's personal brand and the Lakers' storied history presents opportunities for cross-promotional campaigns, international outreach, and multimedia content that could redefine how athlete partnerships are leveraged in modern professional sports. Analysts are also pondering the ripple effects on team strategy, such as the potential adjustment of coaching philosophies to accommodate a player of Durant's caliber, including shifts in tempo, spacing, and player development priorities. Even community programs and philanthropic initiatives associated with the Lakers are rumored to benefit from Durant's presence, leveraging his influence and public profile to expand charitable reach and youth engagement. While much of this remains speculative, the mere suggestion of Durant joining the Lakers has sparked an almost immediate wave of analysis and commentary across the sports ecosystem, with discussions spanning from tactical basketball considerations to cultural and economic impacts on a city and fan base hungry for glory. Finally, the undercurrent of uncertainty surrounding Kevin Durant's possible 4-year contract with the Los Angeles Lakers has become a hotbed for rumor, intrigue, and speculation, fueling endless debates among fans and experts alike. Conversations continue to swirl about how the Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.